And that's where I struggle with this because, as I said earlier, it's his business. It's his decision. People do far riskier things in our society
Yes.
for a lot less money than what
And Tua
Tua's
said
making.
that.
But
Tua said that.
you think about what happened to Damar Hamlin. That was 1 in 100 million, the commotio cordis that caused his heart to stop. Concussions are at the top of the list of the things that can happen to a football player. They are one of
Yes.
the prime risks. And so you're walking right back into the fray. We've seen the fencing posture twice. It's disturbing. It's concerning. It's a serious
Yeah.
medical condition. I almost feel like the broader challenge here is for the league and the union to sit down and come up with something. And I don't think they have enough research to know what they would even come up with. A lifetime limit of concussions? I don't know. But it doesn't feel sustainable. That's what bothers me the most. Okay, hey, Tua's fine. Like if I sprain my ankle, I heal it. I go back, I might sprain my ankle again. Fine, I heal it. My ankle has an unlimited number of sprains in it. My brain doesn't have an unlimited number of concussions in it. And I don't
Yeah.
think we don't know the answer to that because the NFL in the past didn't care enough to even assess, research, think about it. Now that we're in this reality where the NFL was forced 15 years ago this month, almost we're getting close to the point of it's the anniversary of when Roger Goodell and DeMaurice Smith got called to Congress to answer, why don't you take care of these players? Okay, what do you do with a guy who's had a bunch of concussions? At what point do you tell him you can't play anymore?
Yeah, and think about the junior Seals and the player. There was a wide receiver from San Chargers that killed himself. Was discovered he had CT. This is a real issue. It leads to depression. This is a real issue. But as Tua said, and I do realize this, he signed up for this. And the majority of players that even if they do have some depression or some issues, you ask them if they do it again, and you probably about 92% of them will tell you that yes, they would. Understand that Tua is not only representing the Miami Dolphins, he represents an entire culture of people who pride themselves on their toughness. They love this game, and he is the face of Samoa, Polynesian, Hawaii, in terms of he represents an entire class of people, and they rally behind him, and toughness is what they pride themselves in. So he is going to tough this out. And I don't think he cares what the ultimate end result is as long as he goes out as a warrior. And that's the journey that we're on right now.
And that's a scary thought because the game itself, the league, the union, it's in everyone's interest to not have it end that way and to find an off-ramp for Tua.
Yeah.
But if he's cleared, that this is going to continue until there's no doctor that will put his or her name at the bottom of the page to allow Tua Tagovailoa to play again. And I was a little skeptical. I was a little cynical that maybe the league would not, because even though the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, the independent neurologist, they're all disconnected from the team. They're not disconnected from the league. And I still have on the radar screen the possibility of the league at some point saying, you can't clear him. You can't, because it's bad for us now. We got too many parents that are saying their kids can't play. We can't have these primetime games where it's the rubbernecking past a car wreck. People are tuning in.
Yeah.
Hey, great ratings. They're tuning in to see the next time Tua Tagovailoa has a concussion. I just don't think that's good for the game. And that's the only off-ramp. We get to the point where there's no doctor connected to the league that will clear him. And then you might have a legal fight, Omar, where Tua's got a doctor that will clear him. And he files a grievance to force his way back onto the field. That could be where this goes at some point.
That I hope we don't ever get to that point. That could be years from now. But the reality is, it's not just concussions. I mean, I'm watching more NFL games and to see how many guys have been carted off this year. I mean, it's such a brutal game, and we're so used to the pause of the guy crying and covering his face and all his teammates coming over. I mean, this is our sport. This is not. We don't see that in hockey. We don't see that in MLB. We don't see that in basketball. But we're so used to it and so accustomed to it. It's like the norm, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy, and it's not good for the game. And they have to start to take precautions to try to make this game safer. A lot of people inside the league say it's because they're not practicing enough, and I think that that's BS. Just because you don't grind players into the dirt during the week That doesn't necessarily mean you're suffering more ACLs and tears and Achilles pops. Like look at Deshaun Watson. That is just tragic. But this is what we are so accustomed to seeing because we want this gladiator sport to just continue to live on and make us billions of dollars.
It reminds me of the Damar Hamlin incident, and the league got very offended by the suggestion that the game was just going to continue. Hey, that's what always happens. The card comes out, the player's removed, everybody claps, except the people in Cleveland that reacted the way they did after Deshaun got injured. But everybody claps. That's the ritual, and the game keeps going. And that's just the way it is. You're right. But there are bigger issues at play, and I just hope that Tua, and I think part of what we saw on Monday was the facade that he feels like he needs to project because he can't come off as concerned.
Yes.
He can't come off to the future opponents as being worried about this, even if he is. He still has to be sufficiently concerned that he protects himself. That's the key. He's got to find a way to protect himself because some of these hits are avoidable. The one that we saw most recently was avoidable.
Yeah. But then there are the hits like the one he suffered in Green Bay. That's not avoidable, and it led to the ending of his season. I think I think he's concerned, but he's more angered by the fact that he is the face of concussions now. But as he points out, these are the cards that I have been dealt, and I have to do what I need to do to overcome it. Strengthening the neck, strengthening the back. He does have to. This isn't important because as he goes down, the whole season goes down, and not just the season, but a lot of people's jobs are at stake.
Last one before I let you go, Omar, and I appreciate you giving me so much time. This is one of the basic realities of small quarterback and normal NFL quarterback. I remember the first time I met Boomer Esiason. Like, where's the beanstalk that you came down? I mean, most of these guys are huge,
Yeah.
and Tua isn't. And I think it's even more incumbent on you when you're not that size to protect yourself. Drew Brees knew how to protect himself. Smaller quarterbacks have to be able to protect themselves because they're more susceptible to these kind of hits than the normal prototypical 6'4", 6'5" guy.
Yeah, look at Richardson in Indianapolis. He's not even a small quarterback, but the issue is, can he stay on the field? There's a reason why they wear these red jerseys in practice. Nobody can touch them. And now there's a reason why they get paid these ginormous salaries because of how important they are. He is going to, I would hope to think that he's going to change the way he plays. I don't understand why he decided that he wanted to become this athletic scrambling quarterback to begin with, but I think he's going to revert back to what he was doing. Hopefully, maybe he puts on another 10 pounds instead of, giving up the sugar so that the body's a little bit more, can sustain a little bit more cushion and abuse. But you make a great point. Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, these smaller quarterbacks who have had success in the league, they found a way to make it work despite their size. And Tua is one of those examples. And really, he just has to. To me, it starts with building him a better offensive line, and that to me is one of the issues that I think Chris Greer has probably fallen short of doing. And maybe they'll learn from that lesson and sort of prop it up a little bit better in the coming seasons.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.